all, if you look at the utilities, real-time data. All of a sudden they're saying, hey, I'm going to do these smart meter reads and I've got all this data coming and I need it real time. You have similar things going on the energy side with oil and gas. Integration and standardization. I don't know about now, but when I started right out of college, my first job was with Union Oil. With Union Oil, I was involved in research, and I was working on shell rock, shell oil. And what I remember from that was the silos that they were in between research development, exploration, production, all of those things. And it's kind of funny because when I went to the telecom systems, to that business, it was very similar, very siloed. So I don't know, but from what we understand, is that it's very similar still now that you have some silos, you need to do some standardization, and the whole thing on service-oriented architecture is going to be a big driver in your business. More importantly, collaboration. If you look at the first bullet, as I learn more about the energy sector, if it's like some of the other sectors, when you say energy and utilities, it's aging. There's a lot of folks like me that have been involved in it for 30 years or so, okay? So we're good for another 5, maybe 10 if our investments don't go well, and that's it, okay? So how are you going to deal with that? How are you going to get the collaboration? How are you going to make things work? If you look at how folks work, and we're going to show you, I think it's the next slide, what we think is a real-world scenario. We'll see if we listen to you, Robert, close enough. On some of the things you have to do, you have people working all over the place. So I think the first thing is there's exploration sites. Second thing is there could be active well sites. You got your corporate office and data center. I don't know if they got it right. I guess that looks like it's Calgary. You guys have to tell me. Okay, you got remote drilling platforms. You got risk management analysts. We have some of those folks, I know for a fact, out my way in New York and New Jersey. And how do you get them all to work together? Well, you've got some folks down in Houston, all spread out. And you want to do some data visualization on your seismic data. You got to do some collaboration. You got to do some storage. So you stick it in the cloud. And Rigstar and their buddies come along and they connect it. Satellite, fiber, you name it, microwave, some of the other things I heard, they all go together. Here's some of the things we think that you should think about and look at. First of all, it's what we call data center in a box. Robert, it's okay to talk about our partnership? Okay. You want to say something? You sure? So one of the things that we're going to be offering with Rigstar is data center in a box, managed network services, managed computing services, database services, and I'll go in just a little more detail about those. Cloud enablement, from desktop virtualization to collaboration, and of course mobility. I don't care if it's an iPad, I don't care if it's a BlackBerry, any of those things, thin client optimization, all of that stuff. So when we say managed network services, these are some of the things we're talking about, from firewall and router management, log monitoring, interface management, patch management. On compute services, be it Windows or Linux administration. Database services. Oops. Some of the stuff we like to say is kind of simple. It's not, but it can be. Exchange services, SharePoint services. Okay, so here's some of examples that we've done for Marlabs, some case studies. For the ladies in the house, you all know what Chanel is, okay, pretty nice fragrance. And with them, they came to us and they said, listen, we've got on-premise and we think we want to go with you guys and do some off-premise cloud stuff. We want to get our IT costs down. We need 24/7 application support. And more importantly, we need you guys, Marlabs, to come up with a disaster recovery and continuity point of view. So with that, one of the first things the team did is we put Exchange, very simple, email, SharePoint in the cloud for them, and we started managing their infrastructure 24/7. We're using VMware, vMotion, a few other things. More importantly, if you think about the cloud, and we didn't get into the details on how a lot of that works, but one of the things is having a self-service portal. As they need more capability beyond just the things that they're doing from productivity, they're able to log into a portal and say, I need more server capacity. It doesn't matter whether it's virtual or not, that's how they do that. So what were their benefits? They got increased availability, better SLAs, they reduced their operating expense, and on demand they have infrastructure. This is one I had been mentioning earlier. Now what's important about Arlington County, that's where Washington, D.C. is. So in this data center, there are some things in there, they really couldn't tell us what they were doing or what was there. It really wasn't county business. It was some of their clients that happened to be in Arlington County. And here are the things that we're doing for them, which is a private cloud. First thing was they needed a very, very secure content management. I'm kind of surprised they only wanted 1.9 on the uptime of services. In reality, we gave them 3 nines. 24/7 application monitoring. And again, what they were asking for is disaster recovery. So we did infrastructure design, all their Windows server management, their production infrastructure. Remotely, we manage their database and their enterprise content management. If you look at some of the solution highlights, we are a VMware partner, so we do quite a bit with them. The important thing is the benefits to them. They have a single point of accountability for their cloud services, and that's Marlabs. They come to us to do those things.
Quick question.
Sure.
What are you using for the self-provisioning portal? Is this something you guys wrote, or VMware, the orchestrator?
I want to say the orchestrator. I'm not the infrastructure practice head, but I can get that answer for you. Yeah, and some of this is what they allow us to kind of say. Some things, even though we may think it's innocuous, they say, well, you can't talk about that. You can talk about this, yeah, that type of stuff. So we got a couple of GWiz guys. They did a few things. This one here, now this is a group of doctors, and they have clinics that they've opened all across the U.S. And in the middle of starting this project, these guys decided, you know what, even though we got stuff on Windows, we want to go to Apple. And we want you to put it in the cloud, and we want you to run both environments. So not only do we want something kind of hybrid, we want these things put together, and we kind of scratched our heads and said, okay, let's look at this. And they said, and you know what, every time we set up a satellite office, we don't want to go procure a bunch of equipment. That's your headache, Marlabs. That's what you do. You figure it out. You tell us how to manage these 2 different environments. Okay, and oh, by the way, you got HIPAA and everything else, because this is healthcare standards, right? And you got to figure all this out and make it work. So I won't read it to you. You can look up there and see a couple of the things that we did. And when it comes to sensitive data, nothing gets more sensitive than people's medical history. Okay, so we know how to do that. We're fairly well with it. Who knows who ESRB is? The cameraman. Exactly. Exactly. Okay? So if you go out there and you pick up a game, and if you look at that rating, okay, that stuff is running in the public cloud. Okay? And what I will tell you this, not knocking on some of the other people who went down. When Amazon had their problems, these guys didn't go down. Because, see, it wasn't about Amazon had problems. It's about folks such as you and me who just said, oh, it's the cloud. It's Amazon. It's got to be good. And they just put things in there, and they forgot all of the basic IT principles that we all know. So these are some of the things that we do for them. This one's a little different because it's in the public cloud. And we have to figure out what data they want to put in there or not put in there. So, when you think about your cloud providers, or if you decide to do it yourself, here's just a brief high-level checklist. First thing is confidentiality. Okay, that's all the identity management, encryption, all of those good things that go in there. Okay, how confidential will your information be? More importantly, it has to do with integrity, data integrity, and also the integrity of the firm. Okay, if you're just using them to do some computations for you, and that's it, and they're going to send the data back, are they going to delete the data? How do you know that they did that? Something you got to think about. Availability, enough said. That's why you're going to the cloud anyway. Okay, everybody seems to think the cloud's about saving money. That's a myth. The cloud is about availability and flexibility. That's what it's about. Service when you need it. Now, will you save some money? Yeah, you're going to save a little bit of money. But if you go in just looking to save money, it might not work out for you. And then finally, accountability. That's logging, that's business practices. Can they come in and show you how they run their business? Is there visibility to you as the client? All of those good things. So these are just some high-level things to think about. Finally, don't try this at home. Okay? Get a trusted advisor, someone who understands your industry and your business, has IT expertise, the right skill sets for your type of applications, can create the right IT solution for your business, because that's what you're creating. It's a solution. Okay, it's not technology. You're coming up with a solution. And they have to work with you. Finally, let you focus on what matters most to you.